We were warned that Chris Roberts had shifted his omnipresent gaze from developing as many new and exciting features for Star Citizen as is physically possible to focusing on making current content more functional and adding additional things for you to do in this universe of perpetual alpha. Yet, unlike most claims of a fundamental shift in the development of Star Citizen, this actually happened almost immediately, and we were delivered a roadmap update devoid of new core features we've been waiting for and focusing entirely on missions, gear, and places to participate in and use those missions and gear. So let's take a few minutes to see what's actually in Star Citizen Alpha 4.1. Let's start with the most accessible new mission for this update and the closest thing to an actual new feature, including the first alien model in the game with Wicklo's Emporium. Here in the seemingly random locations near Stanton's main hub world, situated among a cloud of rocky asteroids, lie several hangar doors leading you to the cavernous instance warehouse of Wicklow. This horny-headed Banu has a hard-on for Copion horns, among other things, and can reward you with special armors, weapons, and prizes for bringing him those and other important items like soda and burritos, which he presumably keeps among his vast collection of neat things like all the hangar flare decorations from 10 years ago that I still can't use in my hangar. But for the best rewards, he also wants you to hand over one of the rarest minerals in the system, Karenite, that can ostensibly only be obtained at the end of the slightly convoluted new Align and Mine activity. On the surface of the dusty, inhospitable, and largely uninhabited moons of Aberdeen and Daymar, new facilities were added featuring several buildings and a giant satellite dish. While you may have a handful of missions to go there to do familiar things like murder and collect boxes, you can also participate in the sandbox magic of shooting a hole in the surface of a planet. And all it takes is the simple process of going to each of 3 alignment station locations, fighting off NPCs and murder hobos to find sometimes hidden maintenance keycard printing machines with 45-minute cooldowns, using them to unlock maintenance doors with a chance to locate a security card printing machine with another 45-minute cooldown, taking 3 security keycards to each satellite dish station to gain access to alignment blades to properly align the ground stations, tractor beaming batteries big enough to power your mom's vibrator up to a giant laser beam satellite, and fighting your way through more NPCs and players to plug them in and power up the laser from the console, flying back down to an unmarked bunker in the desert, and finally sitting back and relaxing while a giant skybeam Death Stars the surface a kilometer away. If you're smart enough not to decide to run all the way to it, you can fly over to the newly formed crater to find an elaborate cave filled with hand-mineable resources, including that alien-coveted Karenite ready for you to blast it out of the ground. But if you don't have a dedicated team protecting your spelunking ass, it may get filled with hot lead from an opportunistic miner taking a shortcut to that Karenite prize. Yet when you do find your life unceremoniously ended, you won't once again wake up with your cheeks in the breeze of a flowing hospital gown. After years of avoiding using any gear you weren't willing to lose forever when you fell through a planet or got stuck in the geometry of a pointless platforming puzzle, you'll now finally wake up with the same gear you had on still glued to your body. But in an effort to make sure there's no chance of duplicating items that will inevitably be wiped several more times in the future, the gear on your corpse is forever locked down, unable to be retrieved by anyone. However, people will still be able to rifle through your backpack to take anything not in direct contact with your skin, so you'll still have a reason to loot those bodies for the awesome prizes of bottles of water and med pens. But you might want to keep yourself hydrated and ready to battle, because out in these desert worlds there's a pretty good chance you'll come across the all-new sandworms. The Valakar might not include this big shy Haludin sumbitch just yet, but you will find these little sumbitches popping out of the ground wherever there's a disturbance and spitting pure pain at your face while you're minding your own business, blasting holes in the world. But you can make quick work of them with the all-new Volt weapons that give you the unlimited power you've always wanted to Palpatine your enemies right out of existence. Yet if you're looking for some non-violent action to participate in, there are some more options now, like these handyman missions that have you going to locations and performing basic tasks like replacing fuses and patching holes in pipes with your repair gun. You can even use your Vulture like your own personal work van, printing out the tools you need on demand. Or you can take on the Herculean challenge of these pyro missions that have you walking a small box from one shelf in a station to another shelf in the same station several grueling yards away. But if you want to be a little more freeform with your peaceful endeavors, you can always throw more money at CIG for the second mech in the Star Citizen lineup, the Argo Geo. This takes that familiar Argo Atlas platform and swaps out the still bespoke tractor beam for a mining laser, while only slightly inflating the already incredibly inflated price. But it adds a little more value because this robo-beamer comes with a cool jetpack so you can move faster than a lazy jog and presumably get stuck in exciting new places inside of caves. You can avoid caves entirely though and take to the skies where all the best mining is using the brand new Drake Golem. In what may be the safest Drake ship in the entire lineup simply by looking like it's already been destroyed, this mining vessel straps you to the front of a collection of random pipes, thrusters, and two 16 SCU detachable mining containers with a single extendable arm of rock-cutting power for you to crack open some good times. When you compare it to the Misk Prospector though, it seems like it might actually be the garbage that it's often mistaken for. You can't change the mining head, you don't have a bed, a shitter shower, or even an interior for safely eating, drinking, or taking off your helmet, since doing that while sitting in a cockpit is still a feature too complex to be delivered at this time. Yet the Golem does have one significant feature that makes all of that seem like just a mild inconvenience, and that's the unlikely fact that it's less than half the price of this engorged excavator. It even has more firepower with the addition of these tiny missiles, giving you the extensive combat capability you need to defend your excavated earnings from the most ambitious pirates threatening you with starter ships. Star Citizen Alpha 4.1, bringing you the next Flavor of the Month event to keep you entertained while CIG continues to fix all the bugs that make it unplayable. But if you'd like to see more almost informative Star Citizen videos about previous updates, like this video and check them out right here.